Hello everybody, hope you're having a fantastic day today. Thank you so much for checking out the video. Today I have a straight to the point, get you through this Gleaming Depths raid guide. Let's get into it here. Okay, so there is a raid called the Gleaming Depths here. If you're unaware of it on the map, you can just come over here and you're going to see some mole miners, and then there's a cave over here which I'm going to show you, and 1 to 4 players you can start this up, and yeah, pretty much as simple as coming over here and just walking inside and you are starting the Gleaming Depths. Now, even though you can start it with 1 player, like some sections you can definitely do with 1 player, I would suggest having a team if you can, preferably at least 3 people I would recommend. Also, I recommend having a great build. I will link a video in the description giving you a great build to get through this that you and your whole team could use to easily get through this raid. And yes, unless you have a great build, I would definitely refer to that video before you go on any further into the video. Make sure you have a good build going into this. Now, on to stage 1, the Guardian. So when you first start the Gleaming Depths, when you come into the cave, you're going to come up to the Guardian here. He won't be out yet until you push the red button over here. And keep in mind, this enemy, everything in this raid is not easy if you're doing it for the first time. Just keep that in mind. Practice makes perfect. I do like to shoot him with the syringer before we start shooting him. It does help to lower his defense. And yes, just keep in mind this enemy is extremely powerful and will kill you very fast. I highly recommend you not even do most of this raid, if any of it, with a low health build, unless you're extremely, seasoned at doing it at this point, unless, you're very good at it. And basically, you're just going to be shooting his shield until the shield is gone, and then you can actually shoot the torso. You can lock on the torso if you have concentrated fire, and then you're pretty much done killing him. Now, it's not just as simple as that. I do want to point out that if you are building up the build that I put in the video and you're not fully done yet, you may have to peek in and out, which I'm going to show. But I just wanted to show us destroying it. Once you get a little bit better, you can probably do this in under a minute. Now, I'm going to show if you're not, if this is your first couple times doing this, which would I think a lot of people watching this is. Like I said, learn to peek in and out. Use your VATS as much as possible. Sometimes the VATS will get stuck in this stage, and you can just keep on hitting the criticals. You want to make sure you're holding the critical button. If you're in a power armor, make sure you're holding it at the right time as well. But pretty much peek in and out, because even with a great, build, this boss can kill you very, very fast. Now, if you don't get this done in 1 cycle, which I'm sure a lot of people won't, which means, you brought down the shield and now you're just trying to actually take out the Guardian here and you're locked on the torso. If you do not have enough time to take him out, you will have to run to cover. There's these doors that you can hide behind. There's doors A, B, and C, and there will be 1 every time that you take away his shield system. And you only have 3 tries to get this done because each doorway is basically destroyed after each time. So, that's pretty much the first boss. Second area is fueling the drill. Now, this is probably the most complicated one out of the 5 stages, in my opinion. You do not need a power armor for this stage unless you are guarding the drill. Even if you're guarding the drill, you may not need a power armor for this. If you're running in the mines here, then you definitely don't want to have a power armor because it's a 1-hit death no matter what. Now, I am going to take my time on this stage a little bit and just show you guys everything here that I possibly can. And basically, if you're not guarding the drill like I'm showing here, you're going to be going out looking for these red canisters, the fuel canisters, to fuel the drill. And yeah, pretty much these are the caves here, and there are some mole miners running around here that will 1-hit kill you. This is extremely terrifying when you first do this, even up to the point I'm doing it now. It's terrifying, and once you get a gas canister, you want to bring it back to this spot right here and deposit it for the drill fuel. Now, this is the drill right here, so you're basically just trying to keep this fueled and keep it protected as well, I want to get into. So if you're not running the mines, You definitely want to have somebody back here, you know, watching the drill, because the mole rats there with the explosives on it especially will damage the drill. And if you damage the drill before you get all the fuel back to it, you fail this mission. That's basically the purpose of this, is to get all the fuel back here before the drill gets destroyed. If you have a good person on the drill, you can pretty much keep the drill health up, you know, as long as you want. This is the dangerous part, is trying to avoid these guys in the mines. Like I said, they will one-hit you. They are very hard to notice sometimes because of the amount of space in these mines. And yeah, you might just want to stay away from them as much as possible. And these are the gas canisters you will be gathering. This is what they look like. And I just want to show here from the drill, this is a little route that I like to take. I want to point out as well, there are 3 canisters on the tracks. Now, we like to leave these until the end, just in case you have someone on the drill that might be having a little bit of trouble. That way, you know, you don't get as much crazy enemy spawns until the end. So just leave those 3 if you can. They're the 3 easiest ones to get. You also have 4 entrances. I want to show the right 2 entrances here. The furthest right entrance right here is basically just a circle. You can see here, I'm going to lure this guy this way. You can jump over them, but be careful. But this is just the whole right side here is basically a circle. And then you can go to the right from where I just came from. But again, just showing you this is a whole circle area. There's up to 4 canisters back here, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, 4 canisters. So just a good place to start. And then the rest of the mine is probably the more difficult area, which I'm going to show as well here. And I like to go to this second, you know, entrance here, and you can just run straight back. There's a couple of gas canisters here. If you go up the rocks here as well and through, you know, this cave here, there's a bunch over here as well. So I just wanted to show you where most of the gas canisters are. This is really going to be a trial and error thing for you, honestly, because this is definitely, like I said, it's the hardest part of this whole raid, in my opinion. And yes, once you are done filling up the drill, you are done this stage, and the drill will break into the next area, and you will be able to continue on with the raid. Again, practice makes perfect on this one, ladies and gentlemen. Don't get discouraged. Keep at it. On to the 3rd stage, the Epsilon squad. This is probably my favorite stage. And what you're doing here is you're fighting 3 people in power armors, and they are very tanky and they do a lot of damage. There's 3 generators that you need to keep an eye on, because if all 3 of them are not destroyed, you cannot harm these enemies. I'm going to show you where all 3 of the generators are. There's 2 on either side on the bottom floor, which I'm going to show. And then when you jump up top, they're basically under all the letters on the walls that I'm showing here. And again, you have to keep these destroyed. And the reason you have to keep them destroyed is because after you destroy them once, iBots will be, you know, flocking towards them, and they will be constantly trying to repair them, and it really doesn't take them much to repair them. And yes, keep in mind again, if all 3 generators are not destroyed, then you cannot harm these enemies. Their shields will be up. I do recommend a power armor for this one, especially with the build that I'm going to link in the description. And yes, I usually start this one, everybody, if we have a team of 4, I usually get us all in our areas. We destroy the generators, I hit them with the syringer, and then we just start damaging. Again, this is going to take some coordination. It's going to take some practice, you know. I wouldn't do this with less than, you know, 3 people, this one. This is extremely frustrating with 2 people. You're going to spend more time, you know, breaking the generators. And I know it's easier said than done to get, you know, a good squad of 3 to 4 people, but you can easily do this whole raid with 3 people and this part with 3 people. I recommend using the Gatling Plasma on, you know, these characters if you can, or the Flamer works very well. And you can see here we couldn't damage him anymore, right? Well, that's because one of the generators started working again, so someone needed to run back and go repair their generator. If you have 4 people like we do, we keep 3 on the generators and then 1 just, you know, keeping on the enemies. And yeah, this one, you know, seemed hard at first, but like I said, it's kind of becoming my more favorite one now, because we just destroy these guys now, which I'm sure most of you guys will do if you just keep practicing this, and you're going to get better and better at it. Keeping in mind, Lynx is probably one of the worst ones in my opinion. He will shoot a grenade launcher at you, which will just destroy all of your AP. So keep that in mind if you're using an auto axe in this section. That's again why I would probably recommend the Gatling Plasma. You can see again here we couldn't do any damage to him because the shields were up because one of the generators were fixed. So again, make sure all 3 of those generators are taken down in order to be even to damage these guys. And yeah, again, I know I'm going to sound like a broken record in this guide tutorial. Practice makes perfect, ladies and gentlemen. Trust me, keep at it. Don't give up. These raids are a lot of fun once you figure them out. 4th stage, we're almost done. The Ultra Genetic Horde. Now, this one can be hard. I do recommend Funky Duds on it if you don't have a great build or a Union Power Armor. The poison will definitely kill you very fast. I recommend Funky Duds for the boss fight at the end as well when you fight the snake. But basically what you have to do here is destroy crystals near enemies. You cannot hurt any of these enemies. You have to use these crystals, and there are 3 big crystals that deal a little bit more, or I would say a lot more damage than the regular crystals. So we try to save those until the mole miner is dead. There's a mole miner running around, a glowing one that will one-hit you, very similar to the mines in stage 2. So basically what we like to do is we get everybody ready, and the mole miner will always come out this window right here. So there's a quick 2 hits on him. And then we just bring him this way, and we try to hit him with every little one as possible, saving the 3 big ones. You can see there's 2 hanging from the 2 tops there at the sides. They're not hard to find. But yes, we like to lure the mole miner down here, and you can hit him with the crystals from underneath as well when he's coming down, and just try to hit him with as many as possible. If by the time you go back up the other set of stairs, and he's not dead, we usually just lure him over to the big one, and by that point he's pretty much dead. If he's not, then it's just usually a couple more of the little crystals, and then the mole miner's dead. So I just wanted to show the little route that we do with him. Just, you know, again, it's going to be trial and error, everybody, but this is what we do if you just want to, you know, do the same strategy. And yes, you can see he's pretty much dead after that. Now, you're going to get a bunch of other enemies, like Deathclaws included, will hit very hard. Again, I would focus on this after the mole miner's dead. And just everybody, if you could huddle underneath the big crystals and just wait as long as possible. You can pretty much spam stim packs as long as possible once you have a great build. Wait for all the enemies to be under there. The more the better. And just keep using the crystals to destroy the enemies. It's pretty much as simple as that, everybody. It's just going to take some practice. Just keep at it. Definitely some coordination involved on that one. And then you are on to the final stage to fight the Ultrasight Terror. Now, there's nothing really too, special about this. You're pretty much just going to deal as much damage as you can to him. I do want to point out that you can advance your friends to these different stages in this raid if you do start it up. But this one specifically, if they're, crossing this, lake of death here, this green goo, if you go into it, you will die. And if you start it too early, your friends will fall in that because all that's going to be left is this island here. So make sure all your friends are on the island before you start up the mission, and you just do that by walking a little bit close to them. We hit them with the syringer, and then we start to hit him with as much damage as humanly possible. I recommend shooting him in the head or the eye, depending on how good your VATs are. I've been finding lately the head works great, but the eyes do work good too. You can get tons of damage from hitting the eyes. And then you need to worry about the attacks from the snake. Now, he does a screeching yell, which when he does, you need to be running forward or jumping at least, or he will knock you off the edges and you will die. If you do not stay on the island here in this boss fight, it's an instant death, and that's basically what he's trying to do. He will do a big bite at you as well, too, which is probably the least worrisome of the attacks that he does. He also shoots a bunch of acid balls at you here as well, too. If you do not have a good build, be ready to spam stim packs. Again, if he's doing the screech, make sure you're jumping, all while trying to deal as much damage to the eyes or the head as much as possible. It's like I said, there's nothing really, specific to do about this other than, take him out. Also keeping in mind, if you spam some coffee, it will help with these boss fights. And keep in mind, the Altersite Terror does have a tail that does appear. If you do not take it out in time, it will destroy part of the island and making this boss fight a lot harder. It's pretty easy to take the tail out, so just keep an eye out for it is my best recommendation. And before you know it, you're going to be destroying this boss. This is, like I said, the second stage is probably the hardest of this whole raid once you get good at it. You know, again, I know I'm a broken record. Practice makes perfect, ladies and gentlemen. The snake should fall down eventually. And yes, you have completed the raid if you're at this stage. I really hope this guide helps you guys. I tried to cover everything I could possible. Keep in mind that I'm going to link in the description a great build that you can use to get this raid done. I know it does require a team as well. I know some of the stuff that build requires you get from this raid. It's all about working up to it and practicing, ladies and gentlemen. Bethesda said this wasn't going to be easy, and it definitely isn't. And I really, man, seriously, I really hope I can get you guys through this raid. As always, everybody, thank you so much for watching. Have a pleasant evening.